grandstand end of Croke Park, and the All-Ireland final is on, and off we go. Here comes Gavin White, the Kerry captain, right down the middle. Kerry might favour attacking down the middle and try and keep Donegal out wide, and that's Dylan Gainey, and the first score is after 13 seconds. A pre-rehearsed move from the catch in the middle of the field. Kerry lead.
Outstanding from Gavin White and Dylan Gainey. I'm expecting him to have a huge game today, Dara, because there's going to be so much attention elsewhere. He's a finisher, and that's a great start for him.
Sean Patton's first kick out, there's the 2 steps, and he just drills it, and it just about got there. It did, though, that's the main thing. Shane O'Donnell for Donegal, the Ulster champions against the Munster champions. Donegal's 11th game. The match started late, it started 5 minutes late. Owen Ban Gallagher, they say Ban in Donegal. Here's Ryan McHugh, football royalty in Kilcar and in Donegal. And here they go with Shane O'Donnell again. We'll have a lot of touches of the ball. Ryan McHugh, Derry just sit back. And Donegal with Oisin Gallen got 1-2 against Meath. He was brilliant that day. Gallen been tracked by Paul Murphy. Gallen takes it on, and Gallen has scored. Donegal equalise. Real calm, and that's a big start for Gallen.
Yeah, typical Donegal score. They just got the ball in hand. They made sure that they were, while probing, they weren't putting anything up for grabs. Oisin Gallen on the loop. And again, another fella that if he gets ball and he gets firing, seriously dangerous.
Shane Ryan played in the 2014 minor final between these two counties. Dylan Casey got to that. Here's Mike Breen. He really has taken his chance in this team. Shawnee O'Shea, great against Armagh. Here's Paddy Clifford. His vision will be absolutely crucial for Kerry today. Shawnee O'Shea, ditto. What does Jack O'Connor call him? The spiritual leader of this team. Brian O'Bugly. Mike Breen. And that went astray, but Gavin White able to capitalise and get to it. That's Kieran Thompson working really hard. As you look around the stadium, it's very difficult to tell who's got more support. It's all green and gold. Kerry hanging onto the ball. Paddy Clifford for 2. Clifford didn't quite catch that. Oh, it's gone over for 1. It's gone over for 1. Clifford with the ball in, and the finish by Sean O'Brien.
Yeah, Sean O'Brien drifting inside to occupy to make sure that those sweepers can't do exactly what they want. Most dangerous ball in football, dropping short from Paddy. Good finish from Sean O'Brien. Electric start there, electric atmosphere. So Sean Patton just slows things down. There'll be more than 2 steps here, and no 6-second restart. That goes long, and it's a great catch by Joe O'Connor. He's at it already. Here come Kerry. Dylan Gainey. Sean O'Shea from Kenmare Shamrocks. Mike Breen. You can see Donegal just getting into shape. They talk about this zonal defence with the tartan design on the pitch. We get an even clearer view of it from up here. You see David Clifford out here in the 10 position, McCall with him. He's taken him out of the mix at the moment, so Donegal are obviously down the defender in that zone of defence momentarily, Dara.
Here's Gavin White. White soloing off his right. Gavin White through. Scores again, 3-1. This is a brisk start for the Munster champions.
Yeah, excellent. As we mentioned, came from that kick-out catch, first of all, from Joe O'Connor. It slowed into one of those established attacks. Kerry have more or less given up this kick-out now, but went wide. Gavin White put on the burners second time the game and opened up the score. Very well done.
Keelan McColgan made his Donegal debut in 23 against Kerry, and a barnstorming run forward. This is Keelan McGonigal, the late addition to the starting 15. He's a big player for Donegal. He's a big game player, and this is the biggest game of the lot. And McGonigal scores for Donegal.
Yeah, it's up and down. Good in the first bit. McConaughey dodged back inside in his left foot and got it away. Shane Ryan's got one of the sharp kick-outs away. Todd Jason Foley, who's on Michael Murphy. So it'll be interesting to see if they're trying to go and get Murphy working in terms of chasing Foley on kick-outs as they did just there. Yeah, he had to do it on that occasion and then forced to give away the free. Here's Joe O'Connor. That was Kieran Moore with him. That's, if the two of them are near each other, it's going to be like watching 2 Olympic sprinters. They're both really, really quick. Kieran Moore was a 400 metres runner in school. What a year he's had. Paddy Clifford. So Kerry have put the 2
probably tallest players in their team, in close to Sean Patton's goal. Gavin White has played really well already, and that's gone over again. And Gavin White has been one of the key men in this Kerry display. They've only been playing for 5 minutes. He's had the ball loads.
It's an incredible start from him there. The initial drive that led to the first point of the game for Dylan Ganey. He's got two himself. As I said, David is staying wide in the 10 position every time Kerry are attacking. He's sucking some attention that way, and Kerry are punching down the left side, working for them so far.
And Kerry, you can see where their forwards, those blue jerseys, have settled down, giving Sean Patton a lot to think about. He went very high. Mark O'Shea got a touch on that, but it's come back on the Donegal side. Ryan McHugh. Michael Langan. Scored 3 two-pointers during the course of the year. Kieran Thompson got 5 of them. He's played every single minute of the championship for Donegal. Keelan McGonigal. They road tested him against Meath, and he was really good that day. Langan. Here's Conor O'Donnell. Always uses the ball so well. From Karen Dunna. That's Tyler Mogan. So they just slow things down. The impact comes now. Kieran Thompson. And there's the impact. There's advantage in play. The ball had been kicked wide. It's going to be a free in on the 13-meter line for the push in the back.
Yeah, and it was even a kind of a snatchy enough shot from Kieran Thompson. Normally in the Donegal situation there'd be another pass or two, because he was being closed in on there by both Graham O'Sullivan and Joe O'Connor, but free and handy chip over one for Michael Murphy as he's preparing it. Dara McCall is picking up David Clifford as we would have expected. McColgan has gone back, and Dylan Ganey. Morgan is picking up Paddy Clifford at the far side. Jason Foley's picking Michael Murphy, Paul Murphy and Oisin Gallen. Dylan Casey and Conor O'Donnell probably change, especially at the Donegal side as the game goes on.
You saw instructions going into Keelan McColgan, and it's been such a frantic start time, and normally you get to do those matchups a lot earlier than the 8th minute. Here's Michael Murphy, and Murphy gets his first score. Kerry have created 4 scoring chances. You know what they've done. Donegal created 3 scoring chances and scored 3 times. Been a really, really enjoyable start.
Yeah, Donegal had a chance, obviously, after free to get their press ready this time, so it'll be a good test of Shane Ryan. Sean Patton is out to intercept a long one as well, if need be.
That's out towards Joe O'Connor. Kieran Thompson there with them. There's another one from Big Joe. Paddy Clifford. Quicker attack this time from Kerry. Shawnee O'Shea surrounded. Arriving at pace is Mark O'Shea. They switch the ball wide again. Dylan Ganey didn't like the image in front of him. And here's an effort, and it's another score for Kerry. 5 attacks, 5 scores, and Paddy Clifford gets his first. 5-3.
Ferocious accuracy by both sides there, and not alone in their shooting, but in their skill set. Everything they're doing, that catch from Joe O'Connor there, all the passes are on the money, and it's opening up those shots. Another example there, tight picture for Sean Patton, and he got his kick out away to O'Donnell.
Crazy shape on that. He was able to flight it, get it as quickly as he could to Shane O'Donnell. There's not a breath of wind around Croke Park. There was a little breeze earlier on. It maybe favoured Kerry, but that's a loose one. Donegal surprisingly give the ball away. You don't expect those kind of mistakes. Here's David Clifford for 2. McCall couldn't get close enough to him. Clifford! Paddy's at it now, David's at it, and that's for 2 points. First 2-pointer in an All-Ireland final.
As you mentioned, so unlike Donegal, read well by Paddy Clifford. McColgan with a rare kick pass, especially back there, intercepted to Davis. No nonsense. He wasn't going bringing it in to chip it over and bring himself into the game. 2-pointer, huge score.
Sean Patton. Wow, the distance on that, ridiculous. Mark O'Shea got a hand to it. Here's Joe O'Connor, another possession for him. O'Connor stays calm. Dylan Casey. Here come Kerry again. Gavin White. How many times has he touched the ball? Here's David Clifford. McCall just behind him. Graham O'Sullivan. Sean O'Brien. First final appearance for him. Same for Mark O'Shea. Gleno Bjugli. They take the pace out of it now. He tries to inject some back in. Paddy Clifford. Deafening noise. Graham O'Sullivan made a move out. Mark O'Shea, you can see, just trotting, passing the 20-meter line at the moment. They're going to put 3 in their full forward line.
Yeah.
Donegal trying to reshape their cover. Here's Paddy Clifford.
The outside bodies are deeper as well, Dara.
Clifford for two, and that was wide. Sean Patton had his angles correct. First wide of the entire game.
Kerry's outermost attacking line, those slow attacks, is a bit further forward, Darren. It's tempting the Donegal backs to come out a small bit. Paddy probably a small bit more patience there, because as you mentioned, they had bodies inside, there is space there, and it will come down to that decision making in possession.
Kerry 8 scoring chances created from play. Donegal with 2. He's gone down towards Kieran Thompson and Michael Langan again. Kerry win another Donegal kick out. Here's Paul Murphy, man of the match in the 14 final. Here they come. Paddy Clifford. Donegal just sitting off them a bit. Clifford looks really sharp today. Sean O'Brien is available for Seanie O'Shea if needed. Now he goes in and he's picked up by one of the Donegal markers. Bringing up Yugli. Mike Breen. Gavin White from Dr. Crokes. The captain is Graham O'Sullivan. 12 on his back. He's had a really good year. David Clifford, this is for 2 again. He gave that absolutely everything. That's superb from David Clifford. You expect nothing less. 2 two-pointers for the great man.
He's on. He was inside at the centre of the D that time, and he came in the loop and again got a quick shot away, unbelievably accurate. Kerry are winning a load of this dirty ball, Dara, whether it's in the air, as with Joe O'Connor in the last couple on the ground, and it's putting Donegal under severe pressure.
Sean Patton went really quick with the kick out. That was that 6-second thing, but they've lost the ball. Mark O'Shea, another Crokes man. Mike Breen, 9 points to 3. Just under 12 minutes in. Gavin White again. Donegal sitting back inside the arc. Joe O'Connor. There's a Kerry cue outside it. Paddy Clifford. Mike Breen.
Not that the Donegal bodies are occupied. They're finding it hard to sit back and to be those sweepers at the centre of the D.
Monaghan did something similar in their game where they didn't let Owen Ban Gallagher and Ryan McHugh be free and be able to organise things in the defence. So Kerry doing things on their terms at the moment. Gavin White, that's into Sean O'Brien. O'Brien has started really well. This is for 1. And Kerry can do no wrong at the moment. And Donegal are rocking. It's 10 points to 3.
It's all in their terms, Dara. They're doing everything very accurately. You mentioned it already. Sean O'Brien went in there, came out in the centre of the D. Fellas are being marked. The zonal defence is being pulled apart. And Kerry's accuracy is telling.
So Patton goes out towards Michael Murphy. There was some pushing in there. It's a free to Donegal. And Kerry look really open. Here's Ryan McHugh. Gallen is to his right. It's gone out to Oisin Gallen. Oisin Gallen for his 2nd point, and they needed that. It just steadies them down. It's a fine score. All very quick, all very accurate.
Yeah, it was. And to be fair to Kerry, in those situations when you're pressing as they are, they're going to give up scores like that where they are going to be open, give up the point, not the goal, particularly with the margin. They'll be happy with that. Looks to me as if Shane Ryan is targeting whoever is on Michael Murphy for those sharp kickouts, Dara, that he's making Murphy having to chase and run, burn energy defensively, rather than being the presence attacking wise he has been for a lot of this season.
Who said hammer the hammer? Look how quickly Kerry move up the field. Central position for Seanie O'Shea. So when they attack down the middle, Donegal have to stay out wide. Gavin White. Walking pace. Joe O'Connor rarely does that. So look, you know, there'll be no panic from Jim McGuinness and Donegal. It's a long, long way to go.
Brian O'Biogley's position at this side is interesting as well, Dara. He's in a very offensive right in the 20-metre line. He's sucking bodies towards them, again leaving space inside in the D. That when Kerry get a chance to go at a man and go past a man here, there'll be open ground in front of them.
Actually, on this attack, O'Biogley is playing like a right corner forward. Gavin White, the left half-back, is playing like a left corner forward. David Clifford, oh, now, that is Brendan McCole, and the referee decides that that was accidental.
Yeah, we'll see it here. It was, to be fair, his left foot clipped David as he was chasing him there. There was nothing deliberate about it. It is a free, correct decision from Brendan Cawley. Good opportunity for Seanie O'Shea now for another 2-pointer.
Yeah, it's outside the 40-metre arc.
There was an interesting thing in the Irish Times this morning there about the number of 2-pointers that have been kicked into the canal end versus the hill. There's way more kicks down into the canal end rather than the hill, so Kerry are certainly making that count in the first half. If Shawnee gets this one, it'll be their third one.
Shawnee O'Shea for 2 points, and that's what he's done. So 3 of them they've got in the first 15 minutes. Statement of intent.
They have the aggressive press in place again from the free 4, then there's 3, then the lads are out on the big bodies, particularly Michael Murphy here.
So Sean Patton goes long. Now, that is a mark. I wonder, was there a bit of a nudge in there on a Kerry player as well? Here's Finbar Rorty.
Joe Connor is going where Michael Murphy is as well on those long kickouts. He's a second helper to Jason Foley, we'll say.
Here is Michael Murphy. He'll be 36 very soon. Tadhg Mogan. So Michael Murphy staying outside the Kerry 45-metre line. Tadhg Mogan. Kerry 60-40. I thought it would have been more, actually, but they're the correct numbers. Here's Michael Langan. Conor O'Donnell. And the shot is blocked down brilliantly. It was Tadhg Mogan's effort. We've seen him in those kind of positions during Championship 25 and do very well. Brilliant block down. And Kerry surge out of defence, bringing up Yugli. Dylan Casey, first final for him today. He's doing quite a job to keep Tom O'Sullivan out of the team. Shawnee O'Shea.
Yeah, the first couple of passes after that great block down were lateral, and it meant that it had to develop into one of these kind of attacks again. Again, we see David Clifford out in the 10 position. Again, when he's out there, you'd expect Kerry to possibly end up making the break in the left-hand side of their attack.
And so Brendan McCole, a long way from his own goal. Joe O'Connor. So Clifford just kind of sacrificing himself. I'm out of things unless you want me to go for 2. Bringing up Yugli. And that's a risky one. Ryan McHugh could not get there. Shawnee O'Shea. Shawnee O'Shea for another 2-pointer. Didn't quite catch it. Sean Patton did. Tadhg Mogan for Donegal. They are 8 points behind. And that is a free to Kerry. Ball given back quickly, and the counter could cause havoc for Donegal. David Clifford to capitalise, and Clifford, you know, he's brilliant in those situations and further out. What a start.
What a start, and obviously the silk is so hugely critical. Was it Dylan Gainey that forced the turnover? I'm not 100% sure. I think it was. Ended up with David after the ball had been dropped short. First time that Donegal probably had a chance to go on one of those running style attacks, and they turned it over.
Massive distance on the kick out from Sean Patton. Gallen had it but lost out. Kerry just swarming around those white Donegal jerseys, turning the ball over, forcing mistakes. They are just lording it at the moment. Jim McGuinness is down on the sideline in front of us, roaring instructions at his defenders to get back in shape. Sean O'Brien. Paddy Clifford. Mike Breen. Now here's Gavin White. Was the possession star in the first 10 minutes. Paddy Clifford. Kerry are doing things on their terms continually. Here's David Clifford. Nice pass. And they keep it moving. Dylan Gainey. Here's Mike Breen playing like a left corner forward. Dylan Gainey. Shawnee O'Shea. Gavin White. Kerry keeping the ball. White spots a bit of a gap, gets away from Rorty. Now he has to check back out. Paddy Clifford. David Clifford playing like the centre forward at the moment. Here is the number 11, Shawnee O'Shea. So Donegal having to keep their discipline, keep their concentration. Again, the 2 Kerry midfielders are in closest to goal. This was for 2 points. It is wide though. Second wide for Kerry. Second wide of the game.
Another long one here.
pattern. Look at the flight on that. Brian O'Bughley there with Michael Murphy. They hammer the hammer again. That was for the great man. He couldn't get to it. O'Bughley was fantastic. Here he is again. A surge forward from the Gaeltacht man. He hits the deck. No foul. Ball turned over. Now, Donegal are brilliant in these situations, and they need to start showing us that now. Here is Shane O'Donnell. Kieran Moore. Jason Foley now picking up Michael Murphy. The level of communication with the Kerry defenders to pick him up, because they're rotating who's closest to him. Here's Kieran Thompson. Thompson has some space, surging through. Joe O'Connor comes across, hit the deck, no foul, ball turned over. Brendan Cawley, the referee, was in a perfect position to make the call on that. Now Dylan Casey, it's gone against him. He overcarried the ball. It's a free into Donegal. They got away with one here.
Yeah, it's amazing. The couple of mistakes have started to creep in the last minute or two, that both teams have been playing so well in terms of in possession most of the time. Good from Donegal, in fairness to both Owen Bond Gallagher and Shane O'Donnell. Big turnover, one of the things that they're so associated with them.
So there's a lot for Jim McGuinness and company to talk about at the moment, but we saw a little flashpoint as well involving Michael Murphy and one of the Kerry players. But Michael is going to take this free himself just outside the old arc. Well, I suppose it's not. It's the more traditional arc. So Kieran Thompson was the player who made that lovely burst through and then ended up on the ground.
It was good scramble defence from Kerry that time, because it looked like Kieran Thompson had breached.
Okay, so we just have a break in play. Let's go down to Damien Lawler, who's with Enda McGinley.
Thanks very much, Dara. It's a very anxious camp here in Donegal, and Keane O'Neill's just giving messages into Dylan Geeney to continue that crisscross running. But Enda, your thoughts on this match so far? It's been a whirlwind start for Donegal.
Absolutely. Huge talk beforehand about the difference in the two styles. Kerry are man-to-man. Donegal are sticking massively to the zonal defence. They are only going man-to-man with David Clifford. They're not picking up Paddy. They're not picking up Shawnee O'Shea. They're not picking up the likes of Gavin White. And Kerry are loving going at those one-on-ones and getting great joy. Meanwhile, in the middle third, the main man, Joe O'Connor, he is storming. He's won clean catches. He's won break ball. He's dominating.
Back to you, Dara.
Thanks, lads. So Michael Murphy has scored 1 point in this final. Donegal haven't scored since the 13th minute. So Michael Murphy, we're just waiting for Kieran Thompson and the Donegal medics to leave the field of play.
Looks like he's done, Dara, the way he's coming off there. Yeah,
absolutely. He just looks pretty dejected, but Donegal have two players out warming up.
So Darrow Boyle is probably coming on while Kieran Thompson's trying to run up the line now to see if he's okay, but Darrow Boyle's ready to go if he's needed.
So here is Michael Murphy. And Murphy has hit the post. This is going to be like the hurling final with all those shots that came off. The metalwork. Here's Jason Foley. I'd written that one down, so we better cross that one off. Anybody got any Tipex?
You can pass it to me as well, Dara. Write it down as well.
Do you know what the difference? This day last year, in the first half, we were talking about a seagull. Not talking about them now. Well, I know I've mentioned it, but here's Paddy Clifford. Joe O'Connor making a sneaky run down the side of the Donegal cover. Brian O'Bughley. Here's Shawnee O'Shea. Joe O'Connor.
When they get a chance, when the Kerry players get a chance, they're asking the question, as Gavin White will do here, and then if they can't breach, they come back out around. They're working it very clever.
That was Kieran Moore working hard for Donegal. Mike Breen for 2 points, and Mike has missed. So that's their third wide.
Yeah, no, I don't think that was the right option for Mike Breen there. It did open up for him, but you would have preferred to have seen him coming across. There was shooters lined up at this side, and away go Donegal.
Michael Langan, and that's going to be its advantage being played. Now it's Shane O'Donnell for Donegal. Here's Ryan McHugh again. He missed Michael Murphy. Referee's playing an advantage. Oisin Gallen doesn't need the advantage, or does he? No, he doesn't. Point scored. Really good attack from Donegal.
Just highlights their danger, and from Kerry's point of view there, you mentioned they've had a couple of wides. They've got a bit untidy. Donegal in an instant can be up. Shane O'Donnell, as he does so often, making the key pass in that move He's brilliant at even adjusting the hand that's holding the ball, adjusting the height of that to get the hand passes away if he's under pressure.
Shane Ryan's kick out. That was broken away from Mark O'Shea. Listen to the Donegal crowd. Here goes Conor O'Donnell. O'Donnell surging through. Casey comes across to meet him. Conor O'Donnell steadies down, takes the shot and scores. 2 in a row for Donegal. First time they've managed that in the game.
Yeah, great score, brilliant pace from Conor O'Donnell. They won the breaking ball when it came out long. He attacked at pace then, and as you mentioned it there, you can hear the Donegal support. All they're looking for is something to get behind their team. They have a small bit of momentum, but they've a stoppage here.
Kieran Thompson, I think Kieran Thompson is going to have to go off. Darrow Boyle from Gidor is going to replace him, and that is heartbreaking for Kieran to have to go off after 22 minutes of the All-Ireland Senior Football Final.
Yeah, he's a huge loss. He's a big leader as well as all of the quality he brings. But to be fair to Donegal, the quality of the likes of Darrow Boyle to be able to bring in as well as emphasises the strength of their squad. Tough on Kieran though.
Sure it is, yeah. Darrow Boyle is a serious talent. While I think of it, can I say hello to Barney McMonigal from Letterkenny and Donegal from the St. Eunan's Club. Glued to this, like everybody in Donegal, everybody in Kerry, wherever you are around the world. We hope you are enjoying this. That was acrobatic from Mark O'Shea. Kerry free.
Did well to win it.
Graham O'Sullivan. Kerry haven't scored in 5 minutes. Donegal, it's not really a crisis, is it? But the way they tore into it, leading 13-4 after 17 minutes. Clifford's point was their last score, and Donegal have turned them over. And that's one of the biggest roars of the day. Owen Van Gallagher, here they come. Darrow Boyle just on the field for the Ulster champions. McGonigal has got ahead of him. Darrow Boyle. Oisin Gallen. Gallen started brightly. 23rd minute, 13 points to 6. Shane O'Donnell. Patter Mogan. Ryan McHugh. Conor O'Donnell. Michael Murphy fancies a go. This will be for 1 from Michael Murphy. There you go. That's 3 in a row for Donegal.
Yeah, they've steadied the ship big time.
So it's now down to 6 points. Short kick out works for Shane Ryan and company. Paul Murphy. Oh, Murphy in trouble. Oisin Gallen. And now Michael Murphy. Straight line towards goal. Murphy takes the point. And now it's Kerry's turn to look really wobbly. 4 without reply for the Ulster champions.
Yeah, great intensity, great turnover, and then forcing the turnover to score. Huge cheer. Michael Murphy being the man to convert it, even drives it up another couple of decibels. Kerry under pressure here. Shane Ryan got away a good sharp one the last time. Joe O'Connor this time.
What was 9 points is now 5. Joe O'Connor, that's come to Shawnee O'Shea. Oh, dances away from Owen Van Gallagher. Finbar Rorty closes him down. Graham O'Sullivan from Drummond Pierces. Paudie Clifford just takes the edge off it. Mike Breen. 21 points in the first 24 and a half minutes. So that Kerry total growing, obviously. Thing about Kieran Thompson going off, I mentioned like the lad had played every single minute of their 10 previous games, and it's been quite a journey to take them to this match. Mark O'Shea was in it full forward and darted out towards Paudie Clifford. Shawnee O'Shea.
Donegal can only play with one sweeper. Keelan McGonigal is doing the job there. You know that their zonal system, they're having to pick up all of the Kerry bodies that are in there. They're trying to create these kind of gaps outside where they can get 1-on-1, possibly get off a shot then if they can get past the man, similar to what Shawnee Shea is facing with Kieran Moore here.
David Clifford in that deep position again. I'm trying to think how many times we saw him in the Tyrone game out in these kind of areas of the field, but it's a bespoke plan, as you would expect, from Jack O'Connor against such a brilliant team. Here's Paudie Clifford, a brilliant player. Clifford gets the shot away, comes off the post. Donegal have done it. Advantage been played. Kerry, the shot hit the post, and it's going to be a free in for Kerry. Advantage was being played.
Yeah. If we're doubting which is the bigger support, we can hear it here. Paudie danced inside. Finbar Rorty seemed to maybe clip his leg right at the end, but it probably is a soft enough free. But that's the point I was making beforehand, Dara, that when they're getting so many of the Donegal backs occupied inside in that area, if you can get past one, as Paddy did there, and Rorty, you can get the shot off.
So we saw earlier on instructions going in from Jim McGuinness to Keelan McColgan. Well, now there's instructions for Kieran Moore. That's out of picture. We'll follow Shawnee O'Shea. They haven't scored since the 17th minute, and they bring that run to an end. Shawnee O'Shea.
So they have the aggressive press in place again. There are 4-3, and then they have the bodies picking up outside. Michael Murphy being picked by Jason Foley, and then Joe O'Connor lurking nearby, that if it's coming that way, he's going to help out in the air and on the ground if he has to.
So Sean Patton telling his players to get even further down the field. He can kick the ball over the pressure, no doubt about that. Michael Murphy got a hand to it. It fell kindly for Kerry, and they moved the ball quickly out to Gavin White again. Ahead of him is Paddy Clifford. Shawnee O'Shea and Graham O'Sullivan to his left. He has to go out there. Dylan Gainey's taken up a position in close enough to Sean Patton. Recycle back out to Gavin White, the 28-year-old captain of Kerry. Mike Breen.
Kerry are doing excellent in those breaking balls. It's 8-2 now in the first period of the game, Dara, so it's something they've clearly worked on, something they've clearly discussed, and it's going well for them so far.
Gavin White. Finbar Rorty near him. Now, in around the back is Shawnee O'Shea. Has to go back out to his captain, Mike Breen. Dylan Gainey. Now look at Brian O'Bughley. He's been in this position all game when the attack. Mark O'Shea couldn't hang on. It's back out to Dylan Gainey, and the Dingle man gets the score. So that's 2 without reply for Kerry.
That's brilliant, Dara. That's the stereotypical way I'd expect to try and pick his zonal defence apart. A big kick wide, support coming in from Brian. He took the right decision, ended up back with Dylan again, and he converted it well. Good kick out from Sean Patton.
Nerveless kick out from Sean Patton, wasn't it, Dara O'Boyle for Donegal? Michael Murphy being picked up by Jason Foley. Foley, one of the 4 ever presents in Kerry's starting team in their matches up to now. So Michael Murphy has gone in close enough to Shane Ryan. We haven't seen Donegal try and kick the ball in on top of him. Did a bit of it in the first half of the Ulster final. That is Conor O'Donnell, and O'Donnell was tracked by Graham O'Sullivan, but O'Sullivan wasn't close enough to him, and that's a really fantastic score by Conor O'Donnell. Donegal haven't kicked a wide.
Yeah, they've been excellent, and that's so typical of their efficiency, that when they get the shots away, they're so generally so accurate. Conor O'Donnell is carrying on with his fine year again today.
So that is Mike Breen, who ends up on the ground, and Kerry have got a free. Joe O'Connor. Toddy Clifford. David Clifford continues his role. You can see him there with Brendan McCull not even looking at the ball, just staring straight at David Clifford. That's his job. You just mark him. Keep him quiet enough and we should be okay, although there are many other threats in this Kerry attack, like with Donegal, regularly in double figures in terms of scorers in their matches up to now.
The fact that Paddy Clifford is getting to play so much ball here centrally means that they have to have bodies on both sides. He gets another shot away.
Paddy Clifford for 2. That one has been missed. So that's their 4th wide.
Point I was just making there is that Paddy's getting on so much ball centrally that they have to, Donegal zone, they have to mark bodies at both sides, and it's meaning that they are quite open.
Darragh O'Boyle. Tadar Morgan. Conor O'Donnell. Ryan McHugh. Shane O'Donnell. Now this is Conor O'Donnell again. O'Donnell shoots, and their flawless shooting, but look, it was always going to come to an end, wasn't it? That is their very first wide, though. Shane Ryan with the ball on the tee, and that is just too high. It all has to be precise. That gives the ball back to Donegal. They've got 5 out of the last 7 points in the game. Have Jim McGuinness's team. Darrow Wheel thought about the shot. Michael Murphy. Oh, and Michael Murphy, the pass was loose, and here comes Joe O'Connor. Another barnstorming run forward. It's all about how quickly Kerry can do this. David Clifford had gone in close to goal, out in front of Brendan McCall. Clifford for 2 points. It's on the way, but that was well short from David Clifford. It was an off-the-cuff thing. Bit of a let-off for Donegal after the mistaken possession down at the other end.
Yeah, it's unusual from Donegal in their attack there. They're not getting those kind of wraparounds where they're constantly wrapping around the back of each other to make sure that they're not being dispossessed for whatever reason today, whether it's because the Kerry players are closer to them and it's harder to do it, but this kind of stuff where they're getting players constantly supporting around the back and eventually opening up that almost 100% shot.
Shane O'Donnell from St. Eunan's. Shane O'Donnell through. Kerry gave him way too much space. Jason Foley, you could see him kind of punch the air. He wasn't happy with what was happening around him. That's point number 10.
Yeah, he's having a huge influence again there, both in terms of creating and obviously getting his score away there.
This is for Joe O'Connor. That was Michael Langan. They kind of collided with each other. Brian O'Bughley straight with Oisin Gallen, and O'Bughley, did he touch the ball on the ground? Donegal want to do this quickly, and they do. Kieran Moore, Conor O'Donnell. Ryan McHugh was calling for it. Switches it out to Darrow Wheel. Michael Murphy still in it full forward. And now they're going long to Michael Murphy. And that, well, it was towards him. I'm not really sure what that was.
Yeah, just bad execution there. Shane Ryan read it, and they were getting cover back in front of Michael Murphy as it was happening as well with Dylan Casey. You could see Kerry probably trying to hold on to the ball here now until the hooter possibly, and getting the last attack and the last shot.
And I think you probably took your cue off Cian O'Neill, because he's down there, he had his hand up in the air as if to say, look, there's just over a minute left, let's hang on to the ball and see if we can get the last score of the first half. Another involvement in an All-Ireland final for Cian O'Neill, the Kerry coach, brought back in this year by Jack O'Connor. He refreshed his backroom team.
David Clifford is out at 10 again, right on the sideline, occupying Brendan McCall. So, in effect, you could say that their defence is nearly down a body at the moment. Gavin White is back as one of the 3 back at the moment, Darrow, which I nearly expect him to be coming on as one of the fellas to come on in the set play to try and get the score.
Well, maybe he's just taking a bit of a breather, but David Clifford just taking McCall and himself, they're both out of the game when they're in these kind of positions, well outside the Donegal 45-metre line, and Paddy Clifford just
had a check of the clock there.
things.
Yeah, he just had to look up, and he's aware of what's left now.
So the hooter will arrive in just over 10 seconds. This isn't going down well with the Donegal supporters, as you can hear, but this is part of the reimagined game of Gaelic football.
I suppose the Kerry players will argue that it's up to Donegal to push out and try and get the ball back, so you'll probably see a bit of urgency put into it here now, but you'd still expect the play to go on for another bit before they'll develop the shot that they want to get.
Paddy Clifford. Here is David Clifford. There's the urgency. There's the shot from Clifford for 2, and he's got another one. And that has worked absolutely perfectly for Kerry, and it gives them a massive boost at half-time, scoring another 2-pointer just after the hooter. It's the last kick of the first half, and there's a race then to get in. Well, I think the Kerry players are going to be held outside the tunnel. They don't want any kind of flashpoints there, but David Clifford, his positioning, the way he's played, the way he's scored in the first half. As always, a central figure whenever Kerry play. Kerry leading at half-time. A fascinating first half, a really enjoyable first half. Not necessarily if you're from Donegal, but there's a long, long way to go. Kerry at the break in the 2025 All-Ireland final, lead by 17 points to 10. Back out on the field, doesn't look like there are any changes. Kerry kept waiting a little bit by Donegal. But this next 15 minutes, this could be the game. This could be the All-Ireland final. The championship started 113 days ago. So many people talking about a draw here in extra time. So there is a Donegal substitution. I'll confirm that in a minute. But Kerry on the attack straight away. Hugh McFadden is on. Keelan McColgan has gone off. So Hugh McFadden on, named to start, of course, but left out of the team by Jim McGuinness. Here is Shawnee O'Shea for 1 point for the first score of the second half, and he's nailed it. That's a perfect score for them, and they grow the lead with the first attack of the second half.
Yeah, both Gavin White came in that similar kind of a move again. He took two huge collisions. Ryan McHugh has similarly got a big bang there. The medics are out checking them, but Ryan McHugh seems to have come off the worst of it all right. Second time that set play worked very well for Kerry there.
Yeah, it sure is. So with the stoppage for treatment, there's Hugh McFadden.
Unbon Gallagher's gone back cornerback, and Dylan Gainey now with that reshuffle where you have Keelan McConaughey playing centre back. He'll drop away from there.
That was the collision with Gavin White. Hugh McFadden's 51st championship appearance, so Ryan McHugh has to leave the field of play and will come back in when there is a break in play. They had a lot to talk about, and I'm sure it was a calm dressing room led by Jim McGuinness. Still an awful lot of football left to be played on the biggest day of the year. Sean Patton, his 101st appearance for his county today. Still only 29. So Ryan McHugh is still off the field of play. Patton goes right down the middle. Michael Murphy touched it down, but that happened a lot in the first half. They got touches on it, but it broke for Kerry. Gavin White.
They're reading it brilliantly, Dara. They're not getting sucked into the dummy runs. They know where it's going. They're reading it. They're getting the bodies in around the breaks, and it's working very well for them. Similar to what they did against Tyrone and Niall Morgan's long runs.
So Paddy Clifford, we saw this so often during the first half. Brendan McCole is still marking David Clifford. That's him up there on the 20-metre line in front of the Cusick stand. Paddy Clifford. Dino Dioglee. Paddy Clifford. David thought about the move, and look at that. There was a slip from McCole, and Clifford's in. That was beautiful. How many times have they done that in the back garden over the years?
That was gorgeous, brilliant. They looked for it. It would remind you of the pass that Gooch put inside in the 2013 game against Dublin, waited for the move, gave it inside. That's the thing when you're sitting off players of the quality of Paddy Clifford, Johnny Shea, they'll pick those passes.
8 points for David Clifford.
All from play, Dara.
Need you say more? Dara O'Boyle, the Donegal response, the reply. They are not going to go out of this lying down. Kieran Moore. Michael Langan from St. Michael's. Ryan McHugh is back on. Michael Murphy gets away from Foley. Turned back into trouble. There was help there from Joe O'Connor. Advantage being played for Donegal. Shane O'Donnell. O'Donnell takes the shot. And it's gone wide, and we go back for the free. So his team are 9 points down. We haven't mentioned Brendan Cawley, the Kildare referee, taking charge of his first All-Ireland senior final, which from a referee's perspective is usually a good thing. That's why the free was given, or the advantage was being played.
Yeah, similar to the one on Paddy Clifford and Finbar Roarty in the first half. It probably balanced it off. It was a soft enough one.
Michael Murphy with Donegal's first point of the second half. And again, you can just hear the huge Donegal crowd here. They are dying to get stuck into this match and this occasion. Patrick McBrearty, their captain, and we're going to see him shortly. Shane Ryan. That was broken away from Mark O'Shea. Donegal have the Kerry kick out. Conor O'Donnell feeling McGonigal was just trying to get out of his way. Here's Shane O'Donnell. Michael Murphy stays out wide. So whatever gentle breeze there is favouring Donegal. Darrow Boyle, lovely feet, turned back in. Sean O'Shea was the player in front of him.
He was outstanding at 2-pointers during the league, Darrow Boyle, so I wouldn't be surprised if he'd have popped 1 or 2 here in the second half.
Well, Kerry, as you heard, had 11 attempts at 2-pointers during the first half. Shane O'Donnell. Hugh McFadden is ahead of him. Oisin Gallant ran straight into Joe O'Connor, and then it's a battle, and it's a free in. Donegal get the free in. And now we're talking about the referee. The Kerry supporters don't like this call.
Colley saying Jason holding the arms. I think Oisin Gallant was clever enough in terms of grasping onto the arm as well to win the free. But look, for a back, you have to get the hand in and out, and the lads know that. If you're leaving the hand in, you're giving the referee a chance to make the call, just as he did.
We're not going to see Patrick McBrearty just yet. It's going to be Jason McGee. So Michael Murphy to chip away at that Kerry lead.
Feeling it could be Ryan McHugh going off here after that collision.
Scored,
seems to be carrying his shoulder a bit.
Yeah, it is Ryan McHugh, and his right hand is just directly down by his side. So that is a shame for Ryan McHugh.
Yeah, he took a huge collision, all right, that time. Gavin White was coming at pace. He stood his ground.
So Ryan's afternoon is over. So both teams scoring 2 points in the second half. Shane Ryan spotted the movement from Shawnee O'Shea.
Yeah, it was excellent, and Paul Murphy pulled wide to open up the pocket as well, so that he had a straight kick out.
Dylan Casey enjoying his first final. Dylan Gainey, Paddy Clifford, Graham O'Sullivan, and then Joe O'Connor. David Clifford in a more central position. So Donegal keeping, as you can see where they're keeping their pressure, it is outside the 40-metre arc, but Kerry allowed to have the ball in this area without too much to worry about. Gavin White, Mike Breen. So Shawnee O'Shea was playing like a left corner forward, and now Gavin White has replaced him.
Yeah, Jim McGuinness is having a major conflab with all his management here below Stara. He called them all out there. Wonder are they discussing possibly putting someone on Paddy Clifford to try and stimmy his influence some bit. In the league game in Killarney, Finn Barrourty picked him up for lots of that game.
That's a game that Donegal won. It was back in February. Bringing up Hugh Lee. Paddy Clifford. And Mike Breen. Again, Kerry doing things on their terms. David Clifford was the total decoy, and Brendan McCole, well, his job is to mark him, and that's exactly what he was doing. Not too bothered about the ball unless it comes near David Clifford. Now Kerry being made to work a little bit, but they're picking their way through this intense Donegal cover. It's lovely from Sean O'Brien. Paddy Clifford free again. Clifford with the score. That is a brilliant, brilliant team score, and it just sums up what that team are all about.
It was outstanding. It was football that won it for them there and got that score there, because Donegal smelled blood in the corner. They went after it. Dylan Gainey danced away in the first place and opened it up, and every player made sure that they weren't grabbing the ball to become targets for tackling. Basically ended up with Paddy, finished it. Excellent score, great football.
In any game, you saw it last week, you want to be doing things on your terms and dictating the way the match is going. Kerry have done that up to this point in the game. Jason Foley, that was Hugh McFadden who ended up on the ground. Oisin Gallant turning the ball over almost, and now it's Michael Murphy. They need some inspiration, some magic. 8 points is an awful long way away from Kerry, even with 2 pointers and all that sort of thing. Michael Langan. Darrow Boyle. Owen Van Gallagher has gone in very close to Shane Ryan, and Sean O'Brien, the Kerry midfielder, has gone with him. Michael Langan. Conor O'Donnell. Oisin Gallen. There are players who we've seen them score 2-pointers all year. This will be for one though from Michael Langan, and he's just blasted that one wide. That's only their second wide, but it took a lot of effort to get them into that position. Shorter kick out, Paul Murphy. That did it not. I don't think it breached the 40-metre arc. He took the ball inside the arc, so that's a potential issue for Kerry. It's a free, certainly, for Michael Murphy.
Yeah, it was a marginal one, but Paul Murphy was right to do that. I've made that point in the past era. Players earlier on in the season were letting the forward win it rather than go at it. It's a tough free for Michael Murphy from there. If he kicks it, fair play to him, but at least by not surrendering possession, you're not giving up the goal chance. So good decision from Paul Murphy. Shane Ryan left him just short.
Well, if anybody can from here, it's this man. You spotted as well the intense deliberations down on the Donegal sideline, led by manager Jim McGuinness. So the mistake at kick-out time for Kerry. Michael Murphy trying to punish them and succeeding too, and if anyone can, Michael can. So back to where we were at half-time. 7 is the lead that Kerry have.
Yeah, good score for Michael Murphy from such a tight angle. Michael Langan had the wide just before that as well there. He's been peripheral enough for such a huge player. Here he is about to catch it. Now he's maybe coming into the game.
Yeah. Here come Donegal. Shawnee O'Shea. There's a foul against him. Advantage being played, and we're going to get the free now as Keelan McGonigal ran straight at him. Going fast now. Conor O'Donnell for Donegal, and they're on a bit of a roll. That's their 4th point. Outscoring Kerry since the match restarted. It's better from Donegal.
Shane Ryan has the ball down fast again to try and get a quick one away. He has been able to brilliant catch of Mike Langan. I was just mentioning that he hadn't been influencing matters. Conor O'Donnell continuing with his excellent game. Great score from him.
6 points now. Breaks kindly for Kerry's Mike Breen. Paul Murphy. Management meeting for Donegal is still going on, and they've got to be talking about this fella. And what do we do about Paddy?
Yeah, momentarily off the ball there, Kieran Moore had gone back on him in the 3 up, but they're still staying loyal to their zonal setup, and he's drifted back into his usual position there, Kieran Moore.
20 points to 14. Last year's final, the score was 111 to 13. Shawnee O'Shea. Paddy Clifford. The Donegal fans doing their best to lift their team. They're clawing their way closer. Shawnee O'Shea. Oh, there's some space, a lot of space for Dylan Gainey. In that Donegal defensive system, you just don't expect that to happen. And Dylan Gainey was just all on his own.
Yeah, look, he's an excellent forward. I had him in school, Dara. He's a great finisher. We haven't seen enough of it from so far this year. Because of the obsession with the likes of David Clifford, he's getting space. Donegal away here in their kick-out.
At pace, Darrow O'Brien. Options left and right. O'Brien still carrying it. Joe O'Connor just left him alone. They come back out to Conor O'Donnell, and Donegal. Brilliant counter-attack. They've been doing that all year. We just haven't seen enough of it from them so far today.
You mentioned Joe O'Connor there. It was actually brilliant from him, Dara, because if he had committed to the Darrow O'Brien break, could have been passed inside. I think it was Keelan McGonigal that had made the run inside, whereas, again, happy to give up the point in that situation, but not a goal.
Haven't had too many goal chances, if any. So far, that's up there for Sean O'Brien, and what a catch from Jason McGee. He's arrived at the All-Ireland final. And Donegal continue to drag themselves back into this game. Oisin Gallen, Jason McGee. 6 points, the deficit. Finbar Rorty. This is their 11th game. Michael Langan. Shane O'Donnell turned back in, then gets it back onto his left. Another score for Donegal. They're figuring it out.
They are, and Jason McGee is a big addition. He's come on, he's contesting kickouts. He won that one, ended up setting it up. The O'Donnells, both Shane and Connor, are having massive games. Something for Kerry to think about.
And you're going to hear a massive roar now. Patrick McBrearty, about to play in his third final.
And I think Kerry are looking as well straight away for a substitution. Looks like maybe, is it Evan Looney that's coming up?
That's out for Joe O'Connor. Oh, and he's got it. And Joe's on his bike. Off he goes. He has this ability to go quick and then get even faster. But two Donegal men around him. Hugh McFadden got close. Ball turned over. Again, a massive roar around Croke Park from the Donegal supporters. Kieran Moore, Michael Murphy, Shane O'Donnell. They are 5 points behind. Shane O'Donnell, Patter Mogan. Oisin Gallen is going to go off for Patrick McBrearty. Patter Mogan. It's good possession for Donegal. It's got to be a score at the end of it to keep that momentum. 4 out of the last 5 points blocked down, and Joe O'Connor punches the air in delight. He was the player who was turned over, and he helps with the defensive effort. And now it is Patrick McBrearty, his 82nd championship appearance. Dermot O'Connor is going to come in for Kerry. Donegal have a line ball. So Dermot O'Connor has the tracksuit top off. He's wearing number 26. Confirmation of the McBrearty introduction. Conor O'Donnell to Shane O'Donnell. Plenty of space in the D. Patrick McBrearty on, determined to hit the ground running. McBrearty has put that wide. It's wide for Patrick McBrearty. Sean O'Brien off the Kerry team. Dermot O'Connor is a huge sub to be able to bring on, and gets a welcome to the game. And well, look, that's understandable.
Well, Langan knew that he's coming on with a shoulder injury, and he was testing him out straight away. But in a way, it's good for Dermot O'Connor to know that that's been tested out. The way he goes now, hopefully it isn't similar to the Cavan game where it popped out again almost straight away.
Jack O'Connor involved in his 10th senior final as a manager or selector. He was the minor manager in 2014 for that final here. Paul Murphy just dived on the ball. Shawnee O'Shea. Space for Brian O'Buglee. Michael Murphy surging back towards him. Here come Kerry. Paudie Clifford. We've over 20 minutes to go, thankfully. Graham O'Sullivan beside Paudie Clifford. David Clifford still out
Dermot
of it
O'Connor
over on the far side.
Inside.
Dermot O'Connor wasn't picked up. He is now been picked up by Keelan McGonigal. Shawnee O'Shea.
Great kick from Shawnee O'Shea to relieve the pressure in the first half to Brian O'Buglee to open the whole thing up, Dara.
Gavin White, trapped by Kieran Moore. They've got 6 out of the last 8 points, Donegal. Stretching back to the 38th minute. That was their first point in the second half. Just 5 separate the teams. Paudie Clifford right down the middle, running straight at the Donegal cover. Quick hands to Shawnee O'Shea. Gets away from Rorty. Has to check back out. Dylan Gainey. Shawnee O'Shea. Gavin White is now in closest to Sean Patton. Brian O'Buglee. Here's David Clifford at close quarters with Brendan McCole. Paudie Clifford with the freedom of Croke Park. Shawnee O'Shea. Hugh McFadden there beside him. Jason McGee, the other substitute. Brian O'Buglee in tight, 21 metres away, and O'Buglee has missed. That's why. 5 of them they've kicked.
Yeah, looked like a borderline late tackle when McBrearty was being brought on.
Kieran Moore pushed in the back by Gavin White. He just couldn't avoid the temptation.
When McBrearty was coming on there, Luke Barrett, the Donegal coach, had a word with Darragh O'Boyle, and either himself or Morgan seemed to be picking up Paddy Clifford a bit more aggressively. When Kerry are attacking now, they're not giving them the same space.
Conor O'Donnell, such a stylish footballer. Michael Murphy ended up on the ground. A foul by Jason Foley. Free in, and they'll have a chance to trim it down to 4. In the 42nd minute, it was an 8-point lead for Kerry. This will be for 1 point. They're figuring it out.
They are big time.
So now Michael Murphy, the officials are tracking a bit of a flashpoint between the two number 26s, Jason McGee and Diarmuid O'Connor. Michael Murphy does his stuff at free time. And now it's down to 4. Just when we thought that it was slipping away from Donegal, particularly when it was an 8-point game in the 42nd minute. Donegal with 7 second-half points, Kerry with 4. And that is a foul on... a Kerry foul against Jason McGee on Diarmuid O'Connor. So the referee will keep an eye on the two of them. Killian Spillane, they need a bounce up front. They want a bounce up front, and they always get that from Killian Spillane. Mike Breen. Gavin White. Joe O'Connor. And White's got in around the back. Brilliant from Gavin White. Goes with the fist. Absolutely superb. Remember the way he started the game? He was just different class, and he's back at it again, the Kerry captain. 5 points is the lead. Killian Spillane is on, replacing Dylan Gainey.
Yeah, fantastic from Gavin White. A captain's point. Kerry needed a score there, and he just opened up from in front of him, went and finished.
So Killian Spillane, 26th time to come on as a substitute. 31st championship game.
They're clearing out the space in front of Murphy, trying to get this one set up for him, but he screwed it.
And it's a brilliant catch by Jason McGee. Michael Murphy is behind him. Finbar Rorty. Here is Murphy. Michael Langan. Serious contest this is now. 5 points between the teams. Jason McGee. McGee, advantage been played, free in. And Kerry are being forced to give away fouls and concede frees in really good positions for Michael Murphy.
Yeah, in fairness to Jason McGee, brilliant catch in the first place, because I think Patton was probably going for Michael Murphy, but Jason McGee being on the field now gives them that second target for those big long kickouts. We see him winning it there. He ended up being inside as well. Kerry, as you've mentioned it, Darragh, they need to tidy up defensively at the back. They're getting to the point of the tackles, but they're leaving the hands in and they're fouling.
So Michael Murphy with his 5th point of the second half. It's 4 again. What will the Kerry reaction be? Donegal 5 points from frees in the second half. That tells its own story of the pressure they've been able to put on the Kerry defence. 15 minutes to go in the 2025 All-Ireland Senior Football Final. Kerry led by 7 at half-time, and that has come off Hugh McFadden. McBrearty keeps it in play, but gave it straight to Paul Murphy. A gift of possession for Kerry. They don't need too many of those. Diarmuid O'Connor from Naguel, and off he goes right down the middle. Graham O'Sullivan will run all day, and it's Diarmuid O'Connor again. O'Connor, you can see the strapping he has on both shoulders, visible just under the sleeves of the jersey, and well, Kerry can take their time over this free. Delighted to be awarded it for this. So they've got the ball back in motion. Mike Breen, Joe O'Connor, Shawnee O'Shea, Hugh McFadden there, nothing wrong, according to Brendan Cawley. Mike Breen. Gavin White. Running straight at Conor O'Donnell. White has been turned over, but Paddy Clifford backed him up and saved his bacon. And that's a free in. And Mogan and O'Donnell can't believe it. Brendan Cawley decided they were hanging on to Paddy Clifford. That is a bit of a gift for Kerry.
Yeah, it's similar to the other side, Dara. He's given those ones. If you're leaving the hands in, if you're not taking them out, it's consistent refereeing. So
Neil McGee, Colin McFadden and Jim McGuinness and Shane Ryan has come forward to take this. The flags that are behind the Hill 16 goal, there's a bit of a flutter off them, but not hugely significant. But Shane Ryan has been called forward to have a go at this. It's for 2 points. Again, the numbers have gone well for Donegal in the second half so far, outscoring Kerry 4 out of the last 5 points. Shane Ryan has 4 points to his name in the 2025 championship, and he slipped, and it's easy possession for Keelan McGonigal. And Ryan, well, he's going to get back between the sticks. There'll be no mad pressure on him, but that was a let-off for Donegal, and it's still a 4-point game in the final. Peadar Mogan, Donegal's number 4. Patrick McBrearty hugging this near sideline. Missed his first effort. Was brilliant when he came on against Meath in the semi-final. Conor O'Donnell has seen a lot of ball for Donegal, look threatening, and does look threatening. Shane O'Donnell the same. O'Donnell, Paul Murphy there in front of him, and here is Conor O'Donnell. Oh, and he's put it wide. He's put it wide. It stays at 4.
yeah, very unlike him, and especially the way he's finishing today. That was much more like a typical Donegal setup in terms of wrapping around, supporting each other, opening up the kick for one of their shooters in the end, and Conor O'Donnell, who's had a great day, missed that one.
Donegal are bringing Jamie Brennan in. Gavin White, safe pair of hands from the kick out from Shane Ryan. Bringing up Ugly. Dylan Casey, Paddy Clifford and Graham O'Sullivan. Paddy again. There was a little bit of a gap there, and Paddy gets the foul, coming together with Peadar Mogan. Kieran Moore was close enough to it as well. And Shane Ryan's coming forward again. This all wastes some seconds as well.
Yeah, interesting. I'd nearly expect Shawnee Shea to take control of this one, to be honest.
He actually is. So Shane Ryan ran up to his own 65-metre line, but Shawnee O'Shea was kind of going, I'm sorry, I just want this. Remember his kick against Dublin from, that it gets longer by metres every year. So Jamie Brennan is on, and it is Owen Van Gallagher who is going the other way. So Donegal have used all 5 of their substitutes.
They're not going to die wondering anyway,
No.
Dara.
You saw that the shots we've shown you of the Donegal management team, they have tried everything. They've thrown the lot at Kerry in the second half, and it's brought them to within 4. That can be pushed out to 5 or 6 now, and Shawnee O'Shea has done just that for 2 points from the free. Shawnee O'Shea was never going to let Shane Ryan have a go at that. It's for 2, it's good, and now it's a 6-point game again. Massive moment in the match. Here come Kerry again.
Jimmy Brennan's positioning is interesting as well, Dara. He's playing out the field, so expect him to use that burst of pace he has in terms of trying to get through the middle part of the field.
A 2-point free, massive for Kerry. We're heading towards the last 10 minutes. Okay, Donegal have got the ball back. They put a huge effort into this second half, Donegal, but they're only 1 point better off than they were at the break, and it's taken a huge amount of energy. Here's Jason McGee, still no goal in the 25 final. Conor O'Donnell, Patrick McBrearty, Darragh O'Bweel. O'Bweel, this is for 1, it's inside the 40-metre arc, and O'Bweel missed. Well, look, you can't score everything, but that's now 5 wides, and they're coming at times, and it just drains the confidence away from them. Jim McGuinness not showing a huge amount of emotion. Shane Ryan. That was Diarmuid O'Connor, and this is Gavin White. We've said that a lot today. Paudie Clifford wants to move quickly. Graham O'Sullivan not getting ahead of him. Paudie Clifford can go right or left. Joe O'Connor is there, and Clifford goes with the fist to tap on another point. And there's the 7-point cushion restored. It was that way at half-time, and now there's just 10 minutes left.
Gavin White is playing outstanding again today, Dara. He won that break. He's done it repeatedly. He's driven forward, gave the pass to Paudie. He went and finished it, his third point from play.
Conor O'Donnell for Donegal. Michael Langan. Shane O'Donnell. That's Conor O'Donnell. Hugh McFadden has gone in close to goal. Mark O'Shea is there with them. They're two of the giants of these respective teams. Jason McGee is pretty tall as well. Patrick McBrearty. There is still time for Donegal, and time for Kerry to really make this a coronation. Look at David Clifford now back in the defensive system. Joe O'Connor is one of the 3 Kerry players left forward. So David Clifford, we heard all year, enjoying his football, really enjoying it. Now part of their defensive shape. Hugh McFadden, Finbar Rorty, Shane O'Donnell, Michael Murphy, quick hands, slick hands. Darragh O'Bweel, he could have put Rorty in around the back. Darragh O'Bweel, and O'Bweel was put under pressure. That has to draw back in, and he's managed to do it. That's a fantastic finish from Darragh O'Bweel. It looked like he had been put off right at the end. Point number 19.
Yeah, excellent score from him to have the courage. He's missed 2, Darragh, and to kick it on his weaker left side. Great score from Darragh O'Bweel, and it keeps Donegal. They're just not going away. They won't go away. They'll keep battling till the very end.
Well, a 2-pointer or 2 required at this stage, or maybe even a 3. Jason Foley, and that's a mistake at kick-out time. Shane Ryan, he has that ability to go off left and right. Look, it's the problem. They don't always work, and Donegal have got the ball. Kerry are making a substitution. That was very close to being an important turnover. Evan Looney will be in now for Brian O'Buglee. That's for Kerry. David Clifford inside the final 8 minutes. Shawnee O'Shea at walking pace. Probably going to see a lot of that. Patrick McBrearty was just beckoning towards some of his teammates inside the 40-metre arc to come out and try and engage them here, because this is where they need to turn them over. They can't be on their heels waiting for the likes of Joe O'Connor to run at them, and here he goes again. Joe got that one wrong. It's wide by a good distance, but Donegal have the ball back.
Yeah, Donegal are going to have to push out and go in Kerry's face for the rest of the game there when they're attacking, but obviously that leaves those kind of opportunities open then, where Joe O'Connor was able to go at Jamie Brennan.
So Evan Looney is in. He's another Dr. Croaks man. So that change has been made.
Kieran Moore is wide open over here in front of us for the kick out.
Sean Patton isn't looking at him at the moment. He's probably scanned over there anyway. So bringing up Ugly.
They've the 3 big men forward in terms of Langan, McGee and Michael Murphy, so just going towards McGee.
They've got to get the ball to them. Sean Patton, it's very high and very long. That was touched down by Joe O'Connor, but Donegal have it. They need some magic. Michael Langan right down the middle. There was no foul there. He was convinced, Michael Langan, that he would see the right arm of the referee up in the air, but that wasn't the case. Gavin White for Kerry. Michael Murphy coming at him at pace. Shawnee O'Shea playing like a fullback. Paul Murphy beside him. Mike Breen has gone down injured. That's the Kerry man you see in the centre of the picture. Evan Looney. Last 7 minutes. Shawnee O'Shea for David Clifford, and Clifford for once loses out to Brendan McCole, who showed brilliant determination to stick with the task.
Yeah, Kerry are down a man at the moment with Mike Breen out of play. Dara, Tyke Morley's going to come on.
Breen has received treatment and is slotted back in to the play. Kerry want to bring Tyke Morley on, as Eamon said. So this is Conor O'Donnell. Finbar Rorty. He may as well have a go for two. Keelan McGonigal has dropped that in short towards Michael Murphy. And Murphy brilliantly marked by Jason Foley. The ball comes back out. Kerry waiting for a stoppage in play to get Morley on the field. Graham O'Sullivan. David Clifford lost out to Brendan McCole. That isn't repeated, doesn't happen 2 times in a row. Clifford one way, then the other. Clifford off his right boot. He wants his masterpiece, and today could be the day. It really could, with just over 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, great ball inside from Graham Sullivan. David, when he got it, as you mentioned, they have it here again, Dara. Goal.
Here they go again. David Clifford can finish it now. Patton's out of his line. David Clifford stopped off the line. Wow, absolutely brilliant by Conor O'Donnell. How important will that be? We haven't been talking about goal chances all day. This was huge.
Yeah, they had to finish it between David and Shawnee Shea. They had intercepted the kick out. They were in. Now, massive credit to Conor O'Donnell. He went back and got it back off the line.
But it's more time gone from a Donegal perspective, and indeed from a Kerry perspective, to get them over the 70-minute mark. Tyke Morley was coming onto the field. He's now been told to just go back off. So it's a 45 for Shane Ryan after the Conor O'Donnell goal line clearance. So he slipped on the last one, Ryan. And Ryan has missed that one. 26 points to 19. Mike Breen take it off. Jack O'Connor minutes away from his 5th All-Ireland title as the manager of Kerry, his 3rd spell in charge. So Mike Breen is in no rush to leave the field of play. But Sean Patton has to wait for him, and he's just throwing his arms out by his side as if to say, where are the options? He's going to kick this as far as he possibly can, try and kick the leather off the ball. The clock starts again, and we've 5 minutes to go in the All-Ireland final. 26-19, that hangs up. McGee went after it. Kieran Moore has it for Donegal, the 22-year-old. Shane O'Donnell. Half-time lead restored. Darrow Wheel floats that in, but Michael Murphy never had a chance of getting to that. There were 3-4 Kerry players closest to the ball when it dropped. Graham O'Sullivan loses out to Finbar Rorty. They may get the kitchen sink and start throwing it at Kerry and just see what happens. Patrick McBrearty, will he try for 2? McBrearty will try for 2, and he's got under that one completely, but you never know. It's a difficult one for the forwards, difficult one for the backs, not though for Evan Looney. Looney staying very calm. That's Mark O'Shea. O'Shea just always seems to do the simple thing. Paddy Clifford, there's 2 Kerry men down injured. 4 minutes left. Clifford belts it up in the air. Graham O'Sullivan. Killian Spillane is ahead of him. Pater Mogan is there. O'Sullivan decides to try and get around the side of Pater Mogan. Killian Spillane. Shawnee O'Shea. Tyke Morley. Perfect for Kerry to have the ball. It poses the problem for Donegal. They've got to come out and try and get it off them. Tyke Morley forced sideways. Darrow Wheel is trying to get it off Tyke Morley. There was no foul. Diarmuid O'Connor. Kerry are going to bring Tom Leo O'Sullivan in at the next opportunity. But this is just perfect for them to have hold of the ball. Donegal, well, they're just saying to them, you've got to get it back off us, lads. Evan Looney.
Yeah, and they are pushing out, to be fair, Dara. They're gone 1-on-1 all over the place now as they have to.
Gavin White. Killian Spillane. Still they hang on. They had a 7-point cushion at half-time. David Clifford scored 7 points in the first half. Evan Looney. Finbar Rorty behind him. Toddy Clifford, brilliant bounce. Rorty didn't know what was going on there. Here's Evan Looney, Graham O'Sullivan, and O'Sullivan doesn't catch hold of that. Sean Patton kept his eye on that all the time. Diarmuid O'Connor was a big distraction in front of him.
Yeah, the one thing you don't want to do from a Kerry perspective is do that. Graham O'Sullivan's had a massive 10 minutes. His legs have been huge to keep Kerry going forward, but you need to kill the ball in that situation.
Finbar Rorty, 2 minutes left. 7 points. Jamie Brennan, Kieran Moore, Brennan again to make it a 6-point game, and he hasn't done that. Shane Ryan caught it under the crossbar, and Kerry have got the ball back. And that's Patrick McBurty who fouls Gavin White. And Kerry, as you could understand and as you would expect, they will be in no rush to get on with this. The clock is stopped anyway with about 90 seconds to go. The Kerry supporters around Croke Park, you can hear the celebration starting already. All-Ireland title number 39. And Tom Leo O'Sullivan is on for the last couple of minutes to replace Graham O'Sullivan, who's covered every blade of grass up and down both sides of Croke Park. And big smiles as he accepts the congratulations of Cian O'Neill and Jack O'Connor.
Micheál Burns is on as well, Dara. He snuck on there as well.
Yeah, Micheál Burns wearing number 22. Getting the last minute and a half on the field of play in the All-Ireland final. Michael Murphy, we mentioned at the top, he came back and worked unbelievably hard to get back in the shape of his life. But he came back to play in a match like this, the All-Ireland final. But he didn't just come back to play, he came back to win it. And it is not going to work out for them today. They got back to within 4 points with 15 minutes to go. We're in the last minute. And Kerry can just keep this now and cruise all the way to the winning line and another All-Ireland title. They're trying to finish with a flourish. Joe O'Connor. O'Connor, a goal! Remember his goal against Cork in the Munster semi-final? But Joe O'Connor, an all-star in the making, maybe more. Cue the celebrations. Kerry, with 30 seconds to go, are champions of Ireland again.
What a goal. You would have thought that they might have just chipped it over the bar at that stage, but Joe O'Connor hadn't scored today. He'd worked, he'd won breaks, he'd won kickouts, but when he got the chance, he wasn't going to miss. Fantastic finish.
Michael Langan, Conor O'Donnell. The roar around Croke Park is Kerry, Kerry, Kerry. O'Donnell blocked down. Gavin White there. He'll have a speech to do very shortly. But we mentioned at the top that football was rebranded, reborn. But the more it changes, the more it stays the same. And Kerry, under the new rules, are the All-Ireland champions for the 39th time. 2025 belongs to Jack O'Connor, a 5th All-Ireland title for him. And Kerry, well, they're just over the moon.
Incredible, Darragh. What a year it's been for them, where they've come from the Meath game. I'm delighted for the players. David Clifford, all the talk that was about him during the week, I'm delighted for him personally that he played so well today. Kerry produced some magic bursts of football during the game. They kept Donegal at arm's length for the whole game, and you mentioned it already, Jack O'Connor, fifth All-Ireland medal as a manager. We see the goal here, worked in. Thought he might punch it over the bar. No such thing from Joe O'Connor. Back of the net, fantastic finish. But a brilliant year for Kerry. Kerry have a habit, Dara, of winning the historically significant ones, 1984, 2000, 125 in 2009, and now this one under the new rules this year. So delighted as a Kerry person, obviously.
And David Clifford has his 2nd All-Ireland medal. Jack O'Connor has been here and done this before. Jim McGuinness, well, he spoke about how he was still heartbroken after the 2014 loss. This will hurt too. They got back to within 4 points with 15 minutes remaining, but just couldn't do it. And Kerry pushed for home. All-Ireland champions again. Confirmation of the full-time score at Croke Park in Dublin. Kerry 126, Donegal 19 points.
And so